Hey, I'm Supats, lifelong solopreneur. Now living my life with only one passion to help solopreneurs to launch their digital products on fast track so that they can be profitable as fast as within 1 week, and they want to scale, they can join the membership. And as a bonus, I show them how they can sell their digital products all over the world using affiliates. Without further delay, let's get started. Welcome to New Beginning Inspiration for You podcast. And as our promise, we have a special guest today, special guest who can enrich your life. As you know, my approach towards business is always holistic approach because you cannot separate your life from business. When you have fulfilled life, you will have great business. I remember Steve Jobs' last write up. It was full of regrets. He said that people think that I had really beautiful life, but they don't know. I didn't pursue any of my hobbies. I didn't have friends. And now here I'm on sick bed. I can trade everything except the sick bed. And I learned it in a really hard way. So you take charge of your life. And that's why our today's guest is so special because he is expert about the things which generally solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small business owners they ignore because they are so busy building business. And it is not wrong, means of course you should build your business, but not at the cost of your physical health, mental health, emotional health. And there are so many parameters they are there. When you clear all those parameters, your business growth actually skyrockets. So I just want to address all those points which generally are ignored, and they are vital points, they are critical points, they are really more important for someone who is just now getting started into the business. Once they take care of all those points, the success becomes inevitable. So without further delay, let me invite Albert, and he is actually go-to expert in his field. Without me giving more information about him, Albert, just this stage is yours, and just take it away and enlighten us. What you do
All
and
right.
to whom do
Well,
you
thank you
help?
so much, Sue, for inviting me on the show, inviting me on this wonderful podcast. So, my name is Albert Bramante. I currently work with actors primarily. I am a talent agent. I own a business. I own a talent agency in New York City, in the East Coast of the United States. So, my primary day to day is I represent actors for professional opportunities, film, TV, theater, commercial, print, and voiceover. And, I love what I do. And I also, in addition to providing career services, a lot of times I coach people. I've also been a psychology professor, so I work with a lot of students on different academic issues, professional issues, and same thing with actors. I work a lot with mindset. I work a lot with, you know, attitudes and success. So setting actors up for success and setting performers up for success. So I wrote a book last year called Rise Up of the Script, and the book, while it's geared towards performing artists, I always feel like even as business owners, we're always some sort of performance, whether we're sales, or whether we're going into marketing, whether we're going into communication, we're always performing.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. So tell me about your journey. How did you get started? How did you
Sure.
get
Well, I
into
was
your
always
field?
interested in psychology. I was always interested in human behavior growing up, and so that was something that was really really important to me. So, but I also was interested in performing arts. So I was always a bookworm growing up. I loved books. I loved going to the library. That was kind of like my sanctuary growing up. And I read a lot of books about the brain. I read books about science, and I was always gravitated towards science. And but I also loved creativity. So I was in a drama club in high school. I was different. Then when I went to college for my undergrad, for my bachelor's degree, I had taken some electives in theater and in acting, and I really enjoyed it. Being an actor was really important to me. So, initially in the beginning. So, but not only just being an actor, but working with actors. So I did a little bit of professional acting early in the early 2000s, and I came to a realization short after I started that this wasn't really for me. However, what was important to me was the fact of being around actors and just being in the company of actors. It was really an opportunity for me to really feel at home with actors in a sense. So that was important.
You talked about psychology, and psychology is needed in each and every field. I remember when I went to school here, I scored A in each and every subject. And someone asked me, so what is your secret? How did you score A in every subject? I said, I'm just not sure whether I learned the subject, but I studied the
Yeah.
psychology of the
Um,
professor. And then I predicted what kind of question he can what does he like and all. So I studied that, and accordingly I got A. Hey, I'm telling the secret, and this is not the I don't know whether it is the right way, but hey, that is how I
Whatever
scored
works
A's
for
in each
you,
and
and
every
you can
topic.
have that. Hey, I mean, if that works, great. Because the important thing with grading is when you're earning A's, and that's what I would say. To even students, I've taught thousands of students in the past 20 years as a college professor. The one thing I will often tell students is like, I'm not giving you the grades, you are. I'm just recording them. I'm just marking them down for what what you generate. So if you really want to work hard, you can earn an A, and it is going by what your professor wants and the style. That's fulfilling the expectations of the class, and that's what really it boils down to.
I work with lots of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and they have passion to help people. They have passion to create something. They have passion for everything. But when it comes to sales,
Ye-
they really freeze. You see, I'm working with someone who is actually expert at homeschooling. So she created e-course, and she's expert, and she has everything. And I
mhm.
said, okay, now we have to have plan for sales and marketing. She said, do I have to do that? You are in your business, you have to do sales and marketing. And sales and marketing
Mhm.
drives on psychology, because people take decision based on their emotional center, and then they justify with the logic. And if you create the psychological trigger, and if you can relate to your audience, if you can relate to your prospect, if you create the rapport and relationship, yeah, your conversion will skyrocket. And people really think, oh, sales means, oh, basically means I have to give my stuff and I have to take money from someone. It's not that, it's way deeper than that. You are creating results and transformation into somebody's life. You are making their life better. You are sharing your expertise, which might be very easy for you, but it's hard for them, so they are willing to pay you. And psychology is so important to sales and marketing. So, will you please enlighten our audience about that? Because somehow there is a lot of fear about sales and marketing. But if you look from the psychological point of view, it's so simple, it is so easy, and you understand someone else in front of you,
There,
you can serve
there's a
them.
lot
So,
of
just,
pressure to
yeah, give
perform,
me your
and
opinion
and
about
I
that.
think when people put a lot of pressure on themselves, because when they think sales is sometimes being sleazy or being dishonest or being pushy, and it's really not. It's really about connecting the customer, or the prospect, with a service that they can really benefit from, and you have the expertise. So if I would just say it like that, like you have an expertise to really help somebody, and you could really help someone get from point A to point B, and whatever industry you're in, you have a service or a need that other person, has, desires, and it can really help their life. So I think there's a lot of sometimes pressure to perform and pressure to do well, and maybe grappling with the idea of like the mindset is important, so that you're not coming across as being sleazy or unethical. You're coming there to fulfill a need that your customer has or your prospect has, and you can give them that need. You can help their life improve in any aspect you're doing, depending on what type of product or services you offer. So I would just say reframe that as you have something that the other person needs, and you have something that can really help someone get from point A to point B.
You mentioned
Mm-hmm.
about mindset, and that is so important because it's everything is mindset game. Once you change mindset, you can change the output of any situation. The situation may not change, but because of your positive attitude, your mindset, you will have different output. So just yeah, tell us more about mindset because that is so
Yeah, well,
critical
that's
in
why,
any
like,
field.
with mindset is so important, because it's how you're going to show up. And even if you go into sales, if you're not focused, or if you're not really feeling into it, or if you're distracted, what's going to happen is your prospect is not going to feel is going to feel that, and it's going to be kind of turned off by that. And that's where you can become sometimes too salesy or too pushy, is when you're not in alignment with what it is you're selling, or just about, or just in alignment for your day in general. So the important thing is to come from the idea that your prospect has a service you need, and you have that best service for them. And also, I think what a lot of mistakes a lot of salespeople and business people and entrepreneurs make is there's a desperation to make that sale. Now, yes, of course, it's important to make the sale. That's how you're going to make money and an income. But I think if you approach it where, almost from the mindset, like you don't need their sale, but you're there to help them. And I think if you come across that way of, look, I have something that I can help you with, and no, you're not so much attached to the outcome. Where make the outcome being making that sale. Again, it's important, but the important thing is to connect to the customer, the prospect, and just again come to the mindset you have something that they need.
This is so important because you said you are not connected with the outcome, and this is actually the summary of a religious book I follow, that is Bhagavad Gita, and it says, yeah, you do your part, and yeah, don't just be attached to the outcome, and that actually frees you. So in any case, you become happy. If sale happens, you're happy, and even if sale doesn't happen, still you are happy because it may happen in future, or if it is not a right fit, it is, yeah, you saved yourself from bad karma. So
Right.
in any way, it is really a good outcome because you cannot control someone else. You can control yourself, you cannot control someone else. And you mentioned about how you position yourself, and that is so important because I remember I have gone for strategy calls, and the person who was telling me about his offer, I felt
Mm-hmm.
that that person himself was not confident about his offer. If you yourself, if you are not sold on your own offer, there is no way you can bring someone else to buy that offer, because you should be convinced about your offer. You are giving the best
Yeah,
what you
and
can,
that's definitely when you show up
and
for
then
strategy for
basically
sales calls.
everything falls
You
into
have
place.
something that they need, and you have something that can really help them get from, again, to the next level, whatever they're seeking. So they have a problem that you can solve, and I think you're not looking for them to solve your problem or to fill your gap. You're there to help them, and it's right. Otherwise, you won't feel in alignment, and you're then going to find if you keep showing up for these strategy calls, not being fully confident, you're going to often find you're going to get a lot of, well, I'll think about it, or I'll call you back. And once you already hear that, it's over. So the important thing is to go in there and say, look, I have a great product.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about it. We're going to have a great conversation. And whether you buy or not, I set the seed in there for you. So
Yeah, means yeah, if you go to a restaurant, the waitress comes and asks you for ketchup. If you say no ketchup, waitress doesn't have nervous breakdown. She will go
mm-hmm.
and ask someone else, do you want ketchup or not? So it's as simple as that. I work with lots of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and I see lots of challenges they go through. See, as a human being, we are with
Mm-hmm.
ourselves 100% of time. So what happens? We know each and every mistake we have done in our life. So everyone else around
Yeah.
us is busy with their own life, okay? They don't have time to judge us because they have their own problems. But what happens? We know each and every mistake we have done in our life. So we keep on judging ourselves. And that is what I saw solopreneurs go through. They, first of all, they want to be perfect. And the perfection is not possible as far as you are living. As far as you are today, you are better than
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. You are on right path. And if you don't repeat the same mistakes again and again, everything is fine. So my mentor always says the day you become perfect, God will call you. So don't go for perfection. But I saw actually solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, they're just judging themselves, they're self-sabotaging themselves, they're killing themselves. And it really hurts me, means
Oh,
why nobody else has time to judge you? Why you yourself judging
yeah,
yourself? You
no,
be your
and
own
that's
best
very
friend.
important. Again,
So
it kind
tell
of
me,
relates to
how
not
can they
being so
overcome
much
all
attached
those
to the outcome.
problems?
And sometimes it's like it's sometimes fun. It can be fun to and learning experiences to fail from time to time, and so that is really important. Is to just take what I call imperfect action. So make those mistakes. Nobody is perfect, and whether you're going to be a presenter, whether you're going to be a salesperson, or even an actor performer, you're going to make mistakes, and that's part of the learning process. And you made a great point, Sue, about that perfection doesn't exist, and I often feel that perfection and procrastination are two of the same coin. So when you're a perfectionist, very often you're more likely to procrastinate, and therefore,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is so true because
yeah,
I saw
and
people
it's
spending
like,
3 years
oh, I
in
need it to be
creating
perfect. I
e-course.
have to
I
add this.
saw
I have to
people
add that.
spending
No,
6 months
the
in
only
creating
way
lead
you're going to
magnet.
learn is by actually launching it.
Means,
And so, worst case scenario, you launch a lead magnet, you launch a course, and it doesn't work. Okay, well, if it doesn't make the sales, if the lead magnet is not converting into customers, then it's time to maybe focus on revising or revamping the course, and then revamping a sales tactic, or working on a funnel, different type of funnel. There's a lot of things you can do, but I can tell you one thing: you're not going to make any sales by not putting the course out there. So
they're absolutely right. I loved one word you said,
right.
imperfect actions. And that is so true. Imperfect action is better than no action. If you had launches and they generated $0, still they are better than not launching at all. Because even if you generated $0, you gain invaluable lesson of
Mm-hmm.
what not to do next time. So that is really still useful than no not launching at all. So this is you are just giving nuggets and nuggets after that. And you mentioned about
So, what can someone do to
basically
overcome imposter
imposter
syndrome? Well, the
syndrome.
first
So what
step
can someone
is
do
to
to overcome
realize, number
imposter
one, that
syndrome?
it's a normal process. We all go through that. So, imposter syndrome might show up. I mean, in the sense of you don't feel that you're adequate enough, or you don't feel that you have the knowledge base. So again, if you're launching a course, launching a program, it may come up with, well, I don't feel like people are going to want to learn from me. Who am I? And then the important thing is to take action on it and not let it hold you back, but to realize that we're all a work in progress. Yes, we're not perfect. However, the important thing is to take action, because the biggest thing of regret that I often see a lot of people make, well, the biggest source of regret is actions that you didn't take. It's not the mistakes you made. It's the action that you didn't take. For coming from my psychology background, I can tell you a lot of people who are interviewed on their deathbed do not focus on the mistakes they made. What's the biggest source of despair for a lot of people on their deathbed is missed opportunities. So it's all about being easy on yourself. So
Oh yeah,
taking it easy. Look,
you're
you
absolutely
put
right.
yourself out there. Maybe this approach might not have been the most effective,
Mhm.
but you still put yourself out there and you're learning. So your next launch or your next iteration of it will be a lot better because you got some feedback on the first time. So one of the best ways to get over imposter syndrome is just to take action, because you never know. Like for me, I'll kind of call myself out on this. I, for many years, was sitting on the idea of writing my book. And I kept telling myself, I'm going to write a book. I was telling everybody, yeah, I'm going to write the book someday, someday, someday. And it was year after year would go by, and then I realized, well, number one, someday it'll never happen. It's not a weekend. It's not a day either. There's no such thing on the calendar as
Someday is
Sunday.
not one of the big days,
So
Monday,
so
Tuesday,
what
Wednesday, there
happened
is
for
no
me
someday.
was, by beginning by taking action, scheduling time on my
Yeah.
calendar. Okay, you know what? I'm going to schedule 2 hours of writing a day. And I did that for 2 months in 2023. And I sat for 2 months and I just wrote the book. And going back, a couple of things that I've learned, because I was part of an author's mastermind group. And what helped me with that was there was a sobering statistic that I learned in that group, where it was that only 1% out of 100 people publish a book that say they want to publish a book. Ouch! And that was becoming that 99% easily. So if I didn't take that action, I would have been sitting here in 2025 having that same conversation. I'm going to write a book. When? So it was taking action. Another thing that kind of helped with the perfectionism that helped me out was it was suggested by other authors to write the book first, then edit it when it's over. Do not edit while you write. Just write. And so what I would say to everybody doing is just create the course, create the lead magnet, create it, and then you have something, and then you can get input from other people that may be able to say, okay, tweak this or tweak that. But when you already have it, that's half the battle.
I'm proving your statistics. I have written 9 books and I haven't published a single one yet. I think I should get into your back pocket and I should join your author's mastermind, because I finished writing and now they are going through the beta reading and all those things. And the publishing means my goal is to publish books by the end of this year. The process has started, but my book writing process started like more than 2 decades back, and I kept on writing, and somehow my books are actually into entrepreneurship and spirituality.
I
And when I
will.
was
I
writing,
will.
my daughter was after me, "Mommy, go and publish." I say, "Who is going to read books on spirituality?" and
Mhm.
entrepreneurship. Nobody. So I kept on postponing. I think it was again my imposter syndrome, whatever it is. But now, yeah, this year I decided no, enough is enough. I'm going to publish the books. And personally, I open my book and I read it. I enjoy it. Every time I read it, I feel better. So I said, okay, there might be some people like me who would appreciate whatever I have created. So finally, I have decided to go and publish a book. And I got lots of nuggets from you.
Mhm.
You know, you said be easy on yourself, and that is so true because you be your own best friend. Whether someone else is your friend or
Yeah,
not,
and I would
but
even
you
like
be
put
your
a
own
challenge out
best
there.
friend, and you
You could
take
have
every
some
action that
knowledge and
is suitable for
spirituality
your
that
growth.
you're sitting on that could help somebody else. So why not put it out there? And you never know who you can help, and you may never know sometimes everybody you're going to help. But the
Yeah.
important thing is, you have knowledge that other people need. So 100%.
Yeah, why not? Why not to share? If you can make somebody else's life better, why not to do that, right? And you also mentioned about mistakes, and it's always, yeah, good to do mistakes, make mistakes, and learn from your mistakes. But it is always better to learn from somebody else's mistakes. So have someone who can guide, and so someone like a mentor like you can help people in various areas. So you have written books, and I just want to know
Yeah.
what
Well,
what
the
what
important
do
thing
you do? How do
is
you help
to
people? And if someone
just,
wants
again, the
to take
mistakes
your
are
help,
learning
what can they do?
experiences, and nobody was perfect. There was only one perfect person, and he was, if you believe in spirituality, there's only one perfect person, and he's not here. So the important thing is to just take the action. And a lot of times, even your
Yeah.
mistakes can actually be your stepping stone for your achievements. So I, even if you make a mess the first time, that could be your message. That can be a good platform for you. Um, if you listen to a lot of entrepreneurs, even the most successful speakers and entrepreneurs out there, they made a ton of mistakes in their business. They still do, but they use that as learning experiences, and they use that as good feedback. Another thing that's really helpful is to get involved in mastermind groups, other support networks, other people that are also on the path for greatness. So solopreneurs should get together with other solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. And you can build each other up. You can swap audiences. You can do a lot of great things together. So masterminds are great. And I learned kind of this from a classic book that should be on everyone's reading list, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So the idea of masterminds is so important.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You mentioned there was only one perfect person and he is no longer here. But
Yes, and he was
he
betrayed
was
by
perfect, but still nobody understood him.
someone that was loyal
And
to him.
he gave his own life for us.
Yeah, but
Actually, he knew that he was going to betray him. He knew that. And his last sentence I use most in my entrepreneur journey, that God, please forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And that's the most used sentence in my life. And it's so true. It may not change the situation, but at least it changes my attitude, the way I'm looking at the situation. Means, yeah, he went on cross, and there was no fault of him. He just went for us, and still, means basically, in spite of that, having that kind of
it
attitude
really,
at that stage. And here I see, means basically people are going through self pity and victim mentality and all. That doesn't serve anyone anything, right? And you, yeah, and you mentioned about failure. You read anyone's autobiography, you will see that they have gone through failures after failures after failures, but each failure, they didn't consider that they are a failure. They considered, okay, that particular strategy was not working, so go for something else. Now, Lincoln's autobiography, you know that he has gone through so many failures, but now he is the one of the best presidents we ever got in our life, right? And someone told, actually, you work with lots of actors. So someone said, Dustin Hoffman, that you became overnight success. He said, yeah, I'm overnight success, but my night was 10 years. So this is how people go through their life. And you also mentioned that why solopreneurs, they need community, because only one solopreneur understands other solopreneur, neither their friends nor their family. If they are not solopreneurs, they are not understood, because you might be in your home office 8 p.m. at the night time. Your spouse will come and ask, why are you in your office? You cannot explain your spouse that I'm here to create more choices for you and our family, because initially you may not have something to show for. And you might be working, you have an appointment over the weekend, your friends might be partying. You cannot tell your friends that I am at the business meeting. So only one solopreneur understands other solopreneur, and that's why it is so vital to be surrounded by other solopreneurs, so that how they are overcoming the challenges, and you can overcome your challenges accordingly. And it's always good to have a guide and mentor, yeah, like you. Okay, so I was just telling that basically it is so vital to have a community of solopreneurs,
Yes,
other solopreneurs supporting, because nobody understands solopreneur. Only one solopreneur understands other solopreneur, neither their friends nor family. If they are not solopreneurs, they don't understand you, because you might be working 8 p.m. in your office. Your spouse will come and say, why are you working? You have nothing to show for, because you cannot say your spouse, I'm working so that I can create more choices for you. I want more options for our family, because initially you don't have something to show for. Or you might be working weekend and your friends are going for party. You cannot tell, I have a business meeting. So all those things, that's why it is so important to be surrounded by solopreneurs community and have a guide who can help you. Actually,
yeah. Let me
there is something actually here in your camera. So
see that.
something is
Okay.
blocking you. Yeah, now it is fine. Yeah, now it is fine. So yeah, so just wanted to tell that that's why it is so important to have. And we were talking about the failure, and failure means basically, I was mentioning
Mhm.
that Lincoln, he had gone through so many failures in his life, but now he is one of the best president we got, right? And the same thing, you work with actors. I was giving example of Dustin Hoffman. Someone said,
Yeah,
yeah, you got overnight success, and he said, yeah, my overnight was 10 years. So
right.
yeah, so they failed, but they didn't consider themselves as failure. They just realized that it is a stepping stone. This particular strategy didn't work,
Exactly.
go
It's
for
there.
something
There.
else.
You
So
know,
it is
there's no
just
such thing
they
as
learned
failure,
and
only
then they
feedback,
moved on.
and that's one of the things that to look at it as look. You know, your failure is a stepping stone for
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, I like it. It is not a failure, it is a feedback. That is really good. I
So
like that.
when
So now you
I'll kind of tell you a
tell
little
us
bit
more
about the
about your
backstory when
book.
I was
I
writing
want to
this.
know more about
When
your book,
I
because
first started, you know, several years ago as an agent, I was noticing a lot of actors were self sabotaging. What I mean by that would they would be late for auditions, they would not show up for auditions or come up with excuses as to why they couldn't go on the audition. Yet they were also telling me how much they wanted to work and how motivated they were to try to find the work. So it was a bit confusing for me to kind of see what the outcome was. Why was this happening? And what was the purpose of that? So that was sort of like where I was a bit. I felt like a disconnect in a sense. So I couldn't really explain why that was happening. Nobody could really explain that. So that's why I did my PhD dissertation on with self-defeating behavior of performing artists. So I turned that into a book. And I looked at self-esteem. I looked at self-efficacy, which is a concept in psychology that refers to your belief in your ability of your action. So if you have self-efficacy, that's really important because you believe that you're effective in what you're doing. And then I talked about personality factors. One of the models that I use, because there's so many models of personality, I use the 5-factor model, which condenses human behavior into 5 traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And these 5 fundamental traits really have an impact in how we behave and interact on a day-to-day basis. And I relate those in the book and how they're all related to self-sabotage in a sense, and how they can all play in different elements. And then I talk about fear of failure, fear of success, which of course I talk about imposter syndrome. But I also talk about the fear, the actual fear of money too, or issues with the relationship with money, and how that can hold people back.
Fear of holding money, that is so real. I couldn't believe it. I remember uh, someone had come to my place and they had even trouble paying their monthly bills. And that guy was telling me, I don't want to make too much of money. Yeah, so it won't be good for me because, then I realized why he has a problem of paying his monthly bills. Because, doesn't,
It's
money
neutral.
is neutral. Money is not good or bad. It's whoever has the money, it amplifies your true nature. So the good people, when they have money, they do good things, and vice versa. So yeah, all those fears are, so fear of failure and fear of success also. I saw fear of success also, and those are, yeah, truer than anything else. You are absolutely right. Because sometimes, even for actors, what happens, they think if they become too successful, then they will come into too much of limelight, and then they won't have any private life. So there are so many fears, and it is so important to
Mm-hmm.
have book like your book, so that
Yeah, it's available
they
on
can
Amazon
overcome all
paperback,
this. So you tell me,
Kindle,
so
like
your
an
book is
ebook,
available
and
on Amazon,
also
right?
audiobook. Yeah.
Oh, I love audiobooks. Yeah, that is so good because then you are doing your chores and you are putting something positive into your mind and your brain and heart. It is
So
so
my
good.
next plan
So
is to start, write
what
more
is
books.
next? What is your next plan?
So that'll be up in the early of next year, and so that's definitely what's helpful for me. I'm also going to be starting a coaching program, which is going to be about overcoming self doubt and self sabotage. So if people want to get more information, you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can also follow me, my website, albertbramante.com. When I have updates, I'll post.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, that is really amazing because I started writing my books like 20 years back when AI was not there at all. And now I get invitations like, finish your book in one day, finish your book in half day. And means I spent a couple of decades in writing my books, and you're telling me I can write book
My
in half day.
opinion of
So
that
what is your
is I
opinion
think
about
it's a
writing your book with
great
AI?
brainstorming idea. I think it's good for helping with outlines. To write a book in one day, the quality, I'm not so sure. It's going to be there. You'll have a book, but it'll be too generic, and it's not going to be your experiences because AI, might be great at predictive text, but it doesn't know your experiences, and it doesn't know, have your expertise in it. So I don't entirely know how effective that would be, and that would.
No, I really like what you said. It will be too generic. It won't carry your voice, it won't carry your emotion, it won't carry your passion. Because it is just like
Yeah,
a research tool. Means you put the input and it will give you
no,
output based on the
it's a
research.
tool.
And it won't, yeah, it won't tell you anything about your expertise. AI is a tool. It is good for brainstorming, it is good for creating outline, and maybe you can write and
Yeah,
maybe you can make it writing better because English is my third language. So if I write, I may make some mistakes. So I can pass through
we're
AI and
not
I
there
can just
yet,
say,
and I don't
just
know if
make
we'll
my
ever be,
writing better. But
be
still,
there
I
fully
cannot
for that.
depend on
To add the
AI to
human
write
element to
my
it, but it can
feelings. There
help,
is no
and
way.
something we can use it to enhance the message by saying, hey, here's
Yeah.
something that I want to put out, or you're like you solopreneur can say, here's a text to my landing page. What can I do to augment it or to make it better? But I wouldn't again have AI completely write your landing page because again, it doesn't know your product, and it's not going to have your voice. It's going to have and the thing is because we have so much AI out there, your audience is going to automatically know what was AI generated or not.
Yeah, I have a computer background, and in computer we
Exactly.
always say garbage in, garbage out. So now for AI, you can say generic in, generic out. So yeah, means it
No,
won't be your book, it will
I
be
wrote
just
it.
a
I
generic book.
niched it for
Yeah, I
actors,
totally agree
but
with you. So
however,
your book, is it
it's
only for
it's
actors
really
or anyone
there
else
for
also
everybody
can
else.
learn from it?
If you really want it, you can get you can benefit from anything because we're all performing level.
Okay, so that is good to know. See, I asked
Yeah, I
almost all
just
the
want to I
questions,
guess
whatever I wanted to
clarify
ask, but in case I
the
missed out on something
talk a little
and
bit more
you
about
want to
the
tell
fear
it
of
to
money
our
money
audience, please
because
feel free to
a
do
lot
so
of
right
times
now.
we grow up in society where we're told the message that money is the root of all evil. And I want to tell you one thing that quote was misquoted from the Bible. It wasn't that money is the root of evil; it was the love of money. It's not that money is neutral, and you could look at it like you know, especially if you're the type of person that wants to give back.
Yeah,
Well, you're only going to be able
love
to give
of
back and be
money. Yeah,
charitable if you have more money. So
yeah.
why not look at money as being a tool or a tool to help you out and help other people out? So I would not be afraid of being shut out of the idea of being of money. And I would just say just take action. There's no imperfect action. Put it on your calendar. Um, to-do lists are okay, but they're not going to be effective. So put it on your calendar. That would be the one thing, and that's the one thing that'll step into action. When you put it on your calendar, it's real.
No, I totally agree with you because money. Even I had a wrong relationship with money growing up because my parents were middle of the middle class, and all the wealthy people who were around me, my relatives,
Mm-hmm.
distant relatives, they were not following ethical practices. So I always thought the people who have lot of money, they are unethical. And that's why even when I chose my husband to get married, I chose someone who has a job because I thought, okay, he has a job, so there is no way he will be really extra rich. So I'll be okay. At least I will have ethics,
Mm-hmm.
and even though I may not have a lot of money. And then spirituality, the more I got into spirituality, my outlook towards money changed. And then I realized, means having money is not bad, it is not wrong, it is how you use the money, it is just a tool. And so what you said, it is so right and so true. And there might be so many other people, they also grew up like me thinking, oh okay, their parents must have told them that money doesn't grow up on a tree and all those things.
Yes,
So just, yeah, those things are
absolutely. Just do
getting
it.
clarified in your book, and that is so important. And again, action, action, action. So just like Nike, just do it. And yeah, so that's so, yeah. So I totally appreciate you coming as a guest and blessing our community. Our community is our family. So you're coming, and yeah, means everyone, we will be putting all the information about your site and your book in our description and show notes. And yeah, sure, we will look for you on
Absolutely.
LinkedIn. And I want to be part of yeah, your author's mastermind. And anyway, you can get help for my book publishing process. I would really like to know more about that. And thanks a lot. I really, really appreciate you coming. And audience, please make sure be your best friend. Follow whatever Albert told us. Implement that into your life, into your business, and you will succeed. It is a proven formula. It is a proven formula. It is, he did his part.
Well,
Now you
thank
have
you
to do
again for
your
having
part.
me, Sue. I
You
really
have to
appreciate it.
implement whatever he's suggesting, whatever he's telling us to do. So Albert, really thank you. Thank you for blessing our family, and we wish you all the best luck. Thank you. Thank you.
Success stories from busy professionals just like you. Finding a community of other professionals. Building digital products on the side. Completely changed my journey. Instead of feeling alone and overwhelmed, I now have people who understand exactly what I'm going through and celebrate every small win with me. Michael R., financial analyst and digital product creator.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We are blessed to have you as part of our community, and whatever way we can help you, serve you, let us know. Please subscribe and let us know how we can help you, what resources you want. We have lots of free resources and also free collaboration joint venture groups you can join and explode your business, because most solopreneurs quit their business before they launch their first products, and I don't want that to happen to you. And that's why we have special launch service where you can monetize your digitals and become profitable as fast as within 7 days. And if you want to scale your business, join our membership New Beginning Success Collaboration, where we'll provide you MRR and PLR products and collaborations so that you can scale your business with ease and effortlessly. And hey, if you want to sell your digitals all over the world, yes, we will provide you affiliates more than 200 countries. So everything is possible. Just live your dream, follow your dream, and whichever way we can help you, do let us know. Thank you and God bless you.